Henda, you are now entering a space for Black history. Welcome to Black excellence. Do not fear, for if you do, just sip on some grandeur.
We got 107 views! I told you. Welcome to episode of the podcast and chill. We are back.
Is it like a standard for you to greet it?
We got a special announcement to make today, 7th of November, 2020. Give it up for the one and only Sol Penuka. So the next milestone, Sol, are you ready for this? We're trying to fill up SUNBET Arena in Pretoria for our 1 million subscribers event.
1 million?
1 million.
Hey, man, I'm scared about this one, Sol.
They're all scared of you. Don't be scared of them.
Ooh.
Yeah, they're all scared of you.
Sure.
Yeah.
Who are you talking about?
People in general.
But these vaccines being not make sure.
Can you see that he is assuming that I know not make sure?
You won't say this because you don't swear, but I'll say it for you. Fuck you, Basson.
Well, I want to be a surgeon that works on men's genitals.
Yeah.
Whoa! On the ball. Drop a bomb.
No, but I thought, wow, there's something that makes people, in my view, what makes you stand out is if you do you.
Yes.
And then, of course, in my whole life, I've never dumped anyone. People dumped me, right?
No way.
Is it because of you?
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome a very special, and I mean special guest in the building today. Ladies and gentlemen, round of applause for Professor Rosina MAMOKGETHI Pake. Let me get this right. So you're the first black female to have a PhD in mathematics, right?
Mathematics education.
Mathematics education. What's the difference?
Well, it depends on the topic that you're studying.
Uh-huh.
So if you're just doing mathematics just in and of itself, then it's just pure mathematics.
Yeah.
And then mathematics education is mathematics in the context of education.
Yeah.
So then we call it's a different discipline. It's a discipline by itself.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And you're the first female. So
well,
before
Black African, South African, yeah.
Gee, so not
It's
even just...
embarrassing.
Oh.
In 2002, though, that's not now. That's like 20 years ago.
Yes.
PhD, yeah.
You're also the former Vice-Chancellor of UCT.
Yes.
What else am I missing? Because you got so many accolades.
Well, I mean, it depends what you want. I mean, I guess the latest accolade is the winner of the Africa Education Medal.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how many degrees do you have? I'm sure you got more degrees than all of us put together.
Only 4 that I worked for, and then 2 that I got for free.
That's funny. What are those degrees that you have?
Well, I've got a BA Education, major in pure mathematics, and then a B.Ed, which is an honors degree, and then an M.Ed, major in mathematics education, and a PhD. Yeah. And then I've got a Doctor of Science. By the way, the first degree is from University of Bophuthatswana, which is now Northwest University in Mafikeng. Yeah. And then from B.Ed, Masters and PhDs from WITS. And then the first honorary doctorate, Doctor of Science, is from University of Bristol in the UK.
Wow.
And then,
you stayed in the UK for a while?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
No, I didn't. I never studied overseas. I studied everything in South Africa. And that's important because people think to succeed, you've got to go overseas.
Harvard, whatnot.
Well, I mean, sometimes people go even to universities that are at a lower level.
Yeah.
Because it's in the US or whatever. They think it's better.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the last one is the Doctor of Education from University of Ottawa in Canada.
I gotta say, man, I'm so glad you came, and I got so much love for you, so much respect for you. Because the first time, like, don't even ask me this, why I didn't know you. Because I live in my own world, I live in a bubble.
Under a rock.
Yeah. So the first time I was introduced to you was when you came and you're doing an interview with Mashabela.
Yes.
And then you came here and you took a picture, which landed in hot water. But that was the first time I was introduced to you.
Just a video even. Just a video. We just killed the sound of what I was saying. I was doing what you were doing just now.
Yes. And then as soon as he left, Mashabela's like, hey, she's a big deal. I'm like, what does she do? She's like, well, he does this. I'm like, wow, that's amazing. But the reason why I respect you is because after you got that backlash, we've had a lot of people that we've interviewed, like celebrities and whatnot. They come, they sell their tickets, their albums. But whenever we catch smoke, none of them ever stand up for us. And I think you were the first person to stand up for us, and you didn't have to because you haven't even been on the show.
Yeah.
You don't owe us anything.
Yeah. So I'll always have respect for you, man.
But I mean, I respect what you do. I mean, first of all, by the way, I support young South Africans.
Yeah.
I mean, whether it's the businesses. I mean, I use South African products mainly for my skin, for my hair, for clothing. If I can, I try to get local. And so when I saw what you're doing, and of course I've got sons.
Yes,
I got introduced to you a long time ago.
Oh, they chillers.
Yeah,
oh,
yes,
nice.
they're chillers. So I was watching and I loved it.
Wow.
I loved it. I mean, I don't like swearing or anything.
Yes.
But I thought, wow, there's something that makes people, in my view, what makes you stand out is if you do you.
Yes.
And many people try to do other people. So you start a podcast and you were MacG. You were doing you. You were not trying to copy anybody. You are asking questions that are of interest to you. You do it your way. And I like the fact that it caught fire. I would be in the township, I would hear the guy next door listening to you. I would hear the sound in Garankuwa. I was like, wow, this is great,
They have data in Garankuwa.
Yeah, so listen, the issue was that in Garankuwa, I guess that Wi-Fi is not, so it's not as if people have got plenty of Wi-Fi to play with. And yes, this young man next door is using it to listen to you. I think it's good. So I thought it's great. So I stood up for you, not because and by the way, people were beating me up. They thought I'd been here.
Yes, and you hadn't. Yeah.
Yes. And they said, oh, I'm supporting this or that. But I mean, I think sometimes we are our own enemy as Black people, We don't support each other when it matters. We look at the little things that we don't like about what they do.
100%,
rather than focus on the big thing that you do. I mean, you've created employment, you're doing you're doing... you're asking questions that someone wouldn't ask on other podcasts. So
before we get into your story, what do you think about this whole Thabo Bester saga? Especially Dr. Nandiba, because she's in academia, you're in academia. What do you think about all of this?
I mean, I would like to hear Nandipa speak. Because I don't know. I don't know how they met, what's happening there. I mean, the story is coming bit by bit in newspapers, in WhatsApp groups. And, having been a subject of newspapers, I know that sometimes they stretch the truth. So Nandipa, I don't want to get into that because I would like her to speak. I'm so waiting for her voice to speak because I want to hear her story from her side of the story.
But would you ever put yourself in a position like that where you're giving up your career, your kids, your life for a man?
No, I wouldn't do that. But I don't know what made her do that. I mean, I wouldn't do that. I have a clear hierarchy. I have a very clear hierarchy.
Yeah.
It's God, it's my children, a husband and whatever, after children, my mother, and then, husband. I'm sorry. And my career also comes before husband.
You know what I'm saying?
And I'm sorry. I know that there can be controversial.
Whoa.
But let me say this. I mean, husbands are great, and it's good to have one. Right? But husbands can walk out on you. I'm talking from experience. Husbands can walk out. I know that. They can walk out the day they want to walk out. So if you give up your career for a husband, what are you going to do the day he walks out? So I'm not going to give up my career. And if my husband wants to walk out, that's fine. At least I still have my career. I can feed myself. I don't want to be stuck with you because you are my career, or I've given up my career for you. Does it mean I don't love you enough? I do. Come on. A career is not life.
Is that what happened with the first marriage? Because you seem like a keeper. I thought maybe, you're the one who dumped him.
Yeah.
Not of him.
Can't he just walk out?
Walk out on...
Who walks around a professor?
Oh, bro.
Come on. I mean, Saul, what can I say? First of all, I was undateable as a young person. And then, of course, in my whole life, I've never dumped anyone. People dump me, right?
No way. Is it because of you're busy with... Were you busy within books?
No, I don't want to talk about because I'm busy with my memoir. So you can read the stories there. But I mean, I think it's not interesting to talk about how your relationships end. I mean, you loved the person. I mean, when you even when the relationship ends, you chose to love them. So you don't, when it ends, rubbish them or whatever. Otherwise, it says something about you.
100%.
So for me, let me say this. I mean, come on, my first husband is a good human being. I'm so glad that I'm married to him.
Did you suffer from focusing too much on your career and not your relationship or your marriage? Sorry.
No, not really. I don't know what his perspective would be, but I think when I did my PhD, I did spend too much time on my PhD and my career. But it wasn't like there was a competition. He supported me completely. I mean, if you read my acknowledgements, I mean, he supported me completely. Our was still young, and
Yeah.
So it was great. I mean, but I actually think it. When I reflect, I actually think it must be difficult for any man, especially an African man, to live with a woman who is career-driven when you are not. I think you have to be as well. If you are not, I mean, I think it might feel difficult.
Oh, but I would love that, man. Imagine just chilling home doing nothing.
Oh, bro. Got a UCT golden handshake, 12 meetings. The wife is bring home the bacon. You know what I mean?
Who needs to work?
Oh, bro.
I'd love that.
No, you're saying that because you've got a name. Imagine if you didn't have a name, right? And you walk everywhere you walk in, everybody jumps to your wife like, hey. And when people don't even know, they push you aside, they jump to your wife. How would you feel?
Oh,
I'm secure as a man within myself. I'm secure.
And men like you do
insecurity.
that. How would you feel? Even men like you, men who are bigger than, who are more moneyed, everybody, like from people who are moneyed with private jets and whatever, they all run to your wife. I'm just saying. So it's easy for you to say, you'll be fine, chill, whatever. But I just think it must be hard for men.
Nah, as long as we're going home together, I'm good, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as you come home with me, it's fine.
That's good. I think it would be nice to hear Nandipa's story, right?
Yeah.
I mean, imagine Nandipa with her MBCHP hanging out with Thabo Bester. I mean, to be interesting to know that.
So you were saying, Thabo Bester, on the other hand, what do you think? Yeah.
I mean, I think I don't know whether to say he's a genius or our security system is the pets. One of the two. One of the two. Because how on earth?
How on earth? Do you even think about this?
I mean, this is crazy. And actually, it reflects so badly on our country. Imagine someone reading this, someone sitting in Uganda reading this. They say, this is a circus.
Yeah. I got a friend from the UK. He's always texting me. He's like, it's a movie. No?
It's a comedy.
Special.
I mean, I think it's a circus. I think it's a huge embarrassment. I mean, somehow I wish the story didn't come out and we can clean it up. We can deal with it, catch Thabo Bester, deal with him. But I think it's an embarrassment. I mean, it's an insult to our intelligence, to everybody, to our politics. I mean, what does the president say when things like this? Who do you fire? Who do you fire? Because you've got to hold people accountable. And I know it's quite difficult these days. People don't want to be held accountable. But I mean, heads have got to roll. I mean, how on earth?
And in your circle of friends, what are people saying about this?
Well, as I said, some people say he's a genius. Some people say, come on, this guy's a genius. Fake your own death and do all of this. Or he's enabled. I mean, he's enabled by
big people,
Big
politicians, whatever.
Big
Have you ever
people.
encountered anything like with politicians, like maybe like a politician comes to UCT, the kid didn't make it, and they're like, hey, please put them in. Scratch my back, I'll scratch yours vibes, you know?
I think I have a bad reputation of not playing that way. So I've actually never had a politician do that. I've had ordinary people, ordinary people who do that, who have asked me.
How does that work? So they come
No,
up to
but
you
I
and say
can't.
what?
I don't do it. I mean, I just...
What do they say to you? They come up to you and say what?
My son got distinctions, got 4 distinctions. They were not accepted for medicine.
Yeah.
Please help, Prof. Please help. Or maybe sometimes someone I know. And then, of course, I start by saying, send me the results.
Okay.
Because especially if they're a friend, send me the results. They send me the results, and then I can say, and then I talk to them. Your son got distinctions. There's a distinction. And there's a distinction. There's a 75% distinction, and then there's a 99% distinction. Your son got 4 distinctions, one of them being life orientation. No, I'm just saying. No. When your son has got distinctions, 4, he's the first one in the family. And then I say to them, your son has done extremely well.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they are competing with other children who've got 8 distinctions. And these are not 78% distinctions. These are 100%, 90%. Okay? So, and we've got too many of those. So, in this context, and then they say, no, but I know you're on a transformation agenda. My son is black. Or if it's a girl, it's even worse. It's a black girl,
female,
it's a black free female,
Yes.
Prof, you must be.
Yeah.
And then I go, oh, you have no idea. And I'm telling them the truth. I have here with me young black girls from rural areas, Mpumalanga, KZN, who've got 7 distinctions. All of them 100%. So I'm sorry, your daughter has got tough competition. And it's not that we don't take people like them. I wish we had enough space. I mean, we get more than 100,000 applications.
At UCT?
Yeah.
Wow.
And we can only take about 4,200.
Whoa.
First year. And that's all the programs, right? And so there are children that we say no to, who actually, they qualify. So people just qualify and they say, no, I've got the points that you need.
Yeah.
That's not good enough. You've got people who've got, too many people who've got the points that we need and more. And so you rank them and then you select. And of course, we want diversity, so more than 50%. When I took over as Vice-Chancellor, we didn't have so many black students. Now we've got more than 50% of UCT students are black. So that's a so people think you make a deal. I don't make, so I explain, and once you explain, people understand. I mean, one bishop here in Pretoria did that with me. Hey, someone. Then I say, good results won't make it here. Definitely not. Try another university because they will. And people, when you do that, they say, "So you think UCT is for special?" No,
Yes.
no.
I was about to say.
And sometimes I don't know if you read, I think it's the Outliers or David. I think it's Outliers. Malcolm Gladwell's book.
Okay.
He actually makes a very good point about how Ivy League universities fail bright students because they get into the university, and you can see it in universities where we take top students. Yeah, they get into class, and some of them will make it. A majority of them will make it, but there are some students who are just overwhelmed by this. It's the first time in their life they're getting a 50%. They've never had that in their lives. They've been the top in their class. And now they come here. Of course, it's the first time they're sitting side by side with children from Constantia, from Sandton, from every children of the wealthy and whatever who come to school with a Porsche. Yeah. And you come from Mpumalanga, you got the same results. The first time you went into the rural areas, first time you're sitting with them. And then,
which is kind of like your journey, because you started Garangu.
But I didn't go to a white university. I went to township schools. I mean, there's something that protects you about a township school. By the time I went to VETS, I mean, it was overwhelming. Yeah. But I was a graduate. I was stronger. I knew what to choose. But they don't. I mean, they get into class first year, and then the first time they realize that there's something called at maths, they didn't do it. Someone did at maths, and then they're sitting next to someone from Zimbabwe who did A-levels. They're in the maths one class.
And Zimbabweans are smart.
Well, because they did A-levels, which is like halfway, first year, like they're just rolling. And of course, if you did at maths, it's first year. So you are with them, you think there's something wrong with you. Can't you know these people did at maths? You didn't do at maths. You got 100% for the maths. You know, and nobody told you. And then you think there's something wrong with you. Your confidence goes down. And once your intellectual confidence goes down, you know, it's tough.
You're screwed, yeah.
And we're talking about 16-year-olds, 17 and 18-year-olds.
Sure.
So how come there aren't any support structures?
There are.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there are. There are support structures. But I mean, it's not the same, so, you know, it's... you know, support structures usually focus on the academic stuff. Certain learning you do through lived experience.
Oh, yeah.
So in academia, we'll talk about capital. I mean, we talk about capital as money, but we can talk about people having social capital. So it's not money, but it's certain ways of being that NU favor in certain spaces. You can get an access. If I go with you somewhere, like at the Pick and Pay, you've got some social capital. And we also talk about cultural capital. And cultural capital is a concept, of course, that academics Bourdieu came with. But it's that cultural capital. Your culture, your way of seeing, doing, being is not the same. Universities are made for the middle class and upper middle class. They are not made for poor and working class, unfortunately.
And that's majority
they are
of the
elite.
country.
Universities, by their nature, are elite. And oftentimes I say, there's nothing wrong with the students. It's not like we should always bring, like you say, support structures, bring a class that they will do whatever. The university has to change. The university is not ready. I don't know if, you know, so the university is ready to accept students who are intellectually gifted, have achieved, and also have a middle class kind of cultural capital because they can navigate. They are not, I mean, you think certain things won't shock someone. Just imagine a child from Chigombe seeing girls roaming around in bum shops. He's never seen that. He's never seen that.
Alcohol readily available.
Alcohol is readily available. You're saying alcohol.
Yeah.
You're saying alcohol. Any kind of drug. It's available. Weed is nothing. You know, and there's no mother, and you can, you know, and you get into class. I mean, you see things that you've never seen. People, you know, so I mean, there's little things that shock you, you know, that shock you. I don't know. I just think as much as we have to help poor and working class Black students get ready for universities, universities have to be ready for the working class children. And I don't think they are. And by university being ready for the working class children, is the academics knowing who they teach and accepting that this is who they are. It's not that they are not smart. It might be, it's just that their culture is not the same. They don't come from a culture where you ask an adult questions. I mean, I had to unlearn certain things when I got to WITS. I spent 6 months sitting in class, not asking a question, raising a hand, nobody's pointing at me because people are just talking over you. And the class is not big. It's like there's just 13 of you because it's an honors maths class. So you raise your hand, nobody points at you, they talk over you, and after class you want to go to the professor. They're all on top of the professor. I'm the only Black girl. There were 2 Black guys. The rest of the people are white. And after 6 months, I realized, damn, I mean, you don't learn anything if you don't ask questions, right? So then I realized, okay, they pause, you come in. In my culture, they call it disrespect.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
In their culture, they call it confidence. And you're smart. So now I do that. Then I learn. So what do you call it? I lost my manners, right?
Yeah.
So you the issue is that you don't look people in the eye. Now you should look the professor in the eye and say, "Excuse me, Prof, I didn't understand what you said." And said, "What? Just what you said, that concept. Can you come?" Or I disagree with you. Prof, I'm sorry, I disagree with you. My view is that's not something that's done in our culture.
No, what papa?
Exactly. Yes. So maybe young people of today in their families do that, but that's the one thing I had to unlearn.
What about rich kids? I've seen a lot of movies where they get special treatment because their dad he donated something.
Sponsored the tennis court
Yes,
or the hall or whatever.
Yeah, did you see
What
that?
kind of special treatment?
Like they get away with not murder, but like close to. They get away with stuff. Yeah.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that. I mean, I was an academic at WITS for 12 years.
Yeah.
Before I went to UNISA 8 years and then UCT, right? So, and I've seen children of the rich, black and white.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about special treatment in the class.
Yeah.
But I do know that people who donate money to the university sometimes pull their weight around.
Nah.
Yeah. So you can have a decision is made as Vice-Chancellor and people write and say, we will not support. I'm withdrawing my funding to the university.
Yeah.
And maybe we should segue to the story because when I started at UCT, the email that circulated that I should be investigated, my PhD is there, I'm lying and so on.
Sure.
I finally got the email. I still have it, right? And I tell the story in the book. So the two people who started, so it's a conversation, there's about 50, 60 people. Two in that group are Black South Africans. One of them from a VC, the other one was on council at that time. And the other one was a non-South African who's a professor in the university. But all of them, top professors in there, and some retired emeritus professors, and then some donors. There are people who are donors who are alumnus of the university. So I looked at the conversation and I can see one of the top professors, as this thing comes, as one person says, she must be investigated. What is this PhD? And then this professor, a maths professor, says, I don't understand what you're talking about. It's nonsense. I'm getting out of the group. Leave me out of this group. And then gets out. And then I see the next one, a current former professor who then says, who then exits the group, doesn't say anything.
Yeah.
The rest of the people sit there. Then I look at who are these people who start this, because the two people who start this are two of them are donors. These are the two people who are driving this conversation.
Yeah.
They are donors. So I wrote to them separately. I wrote a Mandela kind of letter.
Hey, you know. Put them in their place.
I'm not fighting.
Yes.
You know, I saw what you wrote and I understand that you don't know me and probably that's why you said what you said. I'm available to meet with you if you are interested.
Yeah.
And one of them said, I'm coming to the convocation meeting in December and I'll meet you there. And the other one said, you can meet with me. Of course, you're right. I don't know you, but you can set up an appointment with me if you want to meet me. And then I wrote back and I said, you clearly did not read me properly.
Yeah.
I said, if you need to know me, you set up an appointment and we'll meet. And the person said, I'm sorry, I'm not interested in meeting you.
Jeez.
And then, of course, I was Deputy Vice-Chancellor at that time. And by the way, this letter, this thing about my fake PhD, which comes from WITS University, by the way, so ridiculous, came out the week that the advert for Vice-Chancellor was published online. And of course, at that time, the Vice-Chancellor called me and said, why do you think that I'm like, well, maybe it's because everyone knows that I'm the one who qualifies to apply for this job. And now it's online and people are worried that I'm going to apply. So they've got to rubbish.
They're going to tarnish your name,
They've got to tarnish my name. So this guy said he doesn't want to meet me, left. And then, of course, I didn't apply for the job. And by the way, the former Vice-Chancellor called me to a meeting with all the members of the leadership interrogating me. Why do you think people have sent this email? And he's the one who had told me about this email. I don't know, I'm sure they don't know. And then I said to him, I will not apply. I said to them, look, you can relax. I will not apply for this job. I'm still very young. I have a long way to go. I can, and at that time I had been Deputy Vice-Chancellor for 5 years at UNISA. Yeah. And now I was doing the second round because it's 5-year contracts. I could have taken the second 5 years at UNISA, but I chose to go to UCT because I want to be Deputy Vice-Chancellor in a research-intensive university. Yeah. So I went to UCT. So it was the second. So I was.
And we need more money.
No, I took a 1 million rand cut, salary cut.
Oh.
Hey.
Here's the thing, MacG. I'm not driven by money.
Yes.
I make career moves, not money moves.
Yes.
Because if you make career moves, they'll earn you money sustainably.
I mean, look at you
Not
now.
just now.
You're unemployed millionaire. How many people can say that? So,
Bro.
I will not talk about that because just now they will accuse me of talking about things that are in the agreement. You said that, MacG.
I said it.
And maybe you looked at my shoes. I mean, Shandis. So what can I say? So I said I want to apply. I when I went to UCT, I took literally 1 million rand cut from my salary. So it was about my career. And so when I applied, I applied when they advertised for the third time.
Okay.
And you can get nominated. So people had been nominating me. And the selection committee could have gone ahead. I mean, they have a closing date. Why are they waiting for? It's not So I suspect that they didn't have... I suspect that, when you're a selection committee, you know the people who are around and you see... And I think they kept comparing with the CV of the person inside. Like, this person, if we shortlist any of these, they compare with me inside, but they're not...
Who was your biggest competitor?
I won't say.
Oh, okay.
I won't say. That might be political. I won't say.
Okay, gotcha.
But the people I competed with are still around. They're not VCs yet, but who knows?
So what happened between the first time they advertised and the third time for you to change your mind?
Well, a certain black senior professor came to talk to me.
Okay.
Because people had been writing to me, nominating me, writing to the selection committee, and I just ignore them. Because when they nominate you, then you must submit your CV and a letter of motivation.
Yeah.
So he said to me he wants to see me. And I thought, I was DVC research, he's a researcher, top rated. I thought, he wants to ask for something. And he said, well, I've come to talk to you and I've been sent. I'm sent by black people.
Huh.
They've asked me to please ask you to apply.
To plead with you.
Yeah. And I said, well, I don't want to apply. I mean, there's all these things happening. And he said, please apply. We'll support you. We'll support you. We know that this is going to be tough, but we are here.
Because as deputy, you can see firsthand like what goes into being a vice-chancellor.
Oh yes.
So you understand what you're dealing with here.
Yeah. And I was doing the deputy vice-chancellor for the second round. So it's not like... And that was... By the way, I got to UCT July 2016. That's in the middle of the protests.
Fees must fall.
Fees must fall. And at UCT, it wasn't just fees must fall. February 2016 or January, February, they also had Shackville, what was called Shackville, where the students built a shack on campus to protest lack of accommodation. Yeah, I mean, it's sophisticated stuff. So I came like 3 months or so. The Shackville thing was still going on, the discussions and
the statue, when they...
The statue had gone down already. It went down 2015.
2015.
Yeah. So I took up the professor's. I was persuaded.
Yeah.
I mean, sad to say that 27 days after being in the job, the professor died.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. The one who came and persuaded me, and
jeez.
And there I was.
So when you get the gig, what did you set out to achieve? Because I think one of the things you did say was getting more black students, transforming the landscape racially of the university. What are some other stuff that you wanted to achieve, and do you think you've achieved that? Yeah.
I mean, if you look at, the interesting thing about competing for a vice-chancellorship is you make a public presentation. So my public presentation is still online. And I think the person I competed with, the one is not online because they demanded that it be taken down. Yep. So mine is there. And at that time when I took the university, transformation is the issue. And it was a time when at UCT, there was this idea that if you drive transformation, it means you're not interested in excellence. And I came in with a vision to say that transformation and excellence are interdependent. Actually, if you do excellence without transformation, your excellence will not be sustainable. And that's the argument. So that's the vision that I brought. And And it's the vision that the university is still working on now until 2030. It's Vision 2030.
Yep.
So it's based on 3 pillars of excellence, transformation, and sustainability. And and a good example of why excellence on its own is not sustainable. It's just the roads must fall and the fees must fall. I mean, UCT was excellent. It was driving excellence. It wasn't big on transformation. The student financial aid was better than any other university, but they had roads must fall. It started at UCT. So if excellence solves it, why is that? The issue is they're not driving transformation, right? And driving transformation not just in the form of employment equity, but transformation also of the culture of the institution, the symbols around the institution. And so even as you are driving excellence, if you don't drive transformation, your excellence will get disturbed, it will get rubbished, it will get pulled down. And we saw it.
Literally, yeah.
Literally. And UCT fell off the rankings. The business school got off the rails. When I took office in July 2018, UCT was leading in only one World University ranking. Okay, in Africa, it was leading only in one. And when I stepped down, it was leading in all 5 major World University rankings. Not only that, the beginning of this year, the Times Higher Education, for the first time, announced for the first time that UCT is number 39 on the reputation rankings of Times Higher Education. UCT has never made it to the reputation rankings. Right. Now, you think about someone who takes over a university in the middle of shutdowns. I mean, the farewell of my predecessor that happened on campus, the last one that happened on campus, was disrupted. In fact, we had to have another a farewell off campus, right? So I took the university over at that time. And that's why I boldly say I took over leadership of a university in tatters. Okay? It needed, and I agreed to the challenge of the professor because I felt that I was needed for that time, for the change. I'm a scholar. I'm not just a Black African woman. I'm a B1 rated scientist. In fact, I got my B1 rating in 2018 because the ratings expire every 6 years. So I applied for a rating. I didn't have to, but because of active research, I applied and then I got B1 rating. That's huge, okay? And then I'm Black. I grew up working class. So I understand the picket line, and so do I understand the boardroom. And so I felt that you need someone who can talk to comfortably to unions, to labor, to students, as much as you can talk to president, to professors, to anybody, without it. I still think the university needs someone who can do that. I think this process hasn't ended. And I felt that because I can transact across the different constituencies, I felt that I would be the right person to lead the university at that time. And I think that's what made me successful in the 5 years from 2018 to now. It's that ability to transact. The fact that I'm not, when students protest, I'm not scared of students protesting. I understand because I've been on the picket line. I understand that. Okay, so even when I got to UCT 2016 July, the students were occupying Biko building. There were heavy meetings, and I was new. I came from here, and I had that they're there, and I asked one of the academics to say, I want to go there. I don't know where the Biko building is, and I went, and I told the Vice-Chancellor at that time that I'm going to Biko building. I want to see what the students.
To be on the ground.
Yeah, and I want to hear what the issues are. I mean, I've just arrived, whatever. And he said, don't go, it's dangerous. What if? And I said, it won't happen. If it happens, I have my phone. I'll call the students. I'll send them WhatsApp. The students in Joburg, they know each other, surely. Same movements. I worked with them here. I'll tell them to release me, And so I went despite his caution, and I went the whole week. I just said, and because I'm small, it was winter, I just walked in, I said, the room was full, I sat on the floor and I just listened. I didn't say anything. And they didn't notice me until day number 5, when someone, after I walked out, someone said, that's Prof. Hey, Prof, how are you?
That's crazy.
But it wasn't like everybody was running to me.
Yeah.
But it was a way to understand. And I think in these, in such times, you need a leader who can do that. If a union is angry, whatever, you meet with them. And I introduced a culture of interacting with labor, with students. If I walk on campus, I would hug a gardener and we would chat. I would ask them about family. I would, and that's important so that to bridge the gap. Otherwise you become the enemy forever. I mean, by virtue of being management, you are the enemy anyway. So soften it, make it better.
And what are white people saying at this time?
No, I mean, look, white people and everyone else wanted the protest to end.
Okay.
So people were not angry about that. No,
I'm saying when you got into office, were white people receptive of you?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I've written a chapter on walking the tightrope between the picket line and the boardroom.
Yes.
And I talk about how the boardroom celebrated my appointment.
Wow.
Yeah. No. White people are very happy because many people want a scholar, an academic who's serious about the school and whatever. Black people want someone who's going to transform and they can be listened to. So I fitted that and that,
Yes.
And here's the thing that people forget. As much as I stepped down and I agreed to step down, I did accept to take a second term.
Okay.
Which would have started in July. And getting the Vice-Chancellor's job is not easy, by the way. As I told you about making a public presentation.
Sure.
I mean, my presentation was live streamed. Live streamed. I mean,
Wow.
people were commenting about it on Twitter.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be interviewed tomorrow. And here, people are asking me questions in the room. It's all over, right? And then tomorrow you get interviewed. From there, it goes to the selection committee. Recommends someone who can get the job. So they recommended me. It goes to Senate. Senate must vote. Senate is like, at UCT is like more than 300 people.
Jeez.
It's everyone who is a full professor. And you can imagine, given the racial complication, it's majority white, it's majority male, right?
That's amazing.
Right. Now, you've got to get 2/3 majority vote to be appointed.
Whoa.
And any abstention is counted as a vote against. So it's tough. It's tougher than how our politicians get because they just have to get 2/3 majority. For us, anyone who abstains is counted as a vote against. Okay, so that was the first time. And at that time, only 75% voted for my appointment. Now, the second term, you don't present whatever, but they consult all these constituencies, and then it goes to Senate. Senate voted 78% for me to get a second term. That's starting in July. All right. So, I don't want to sit here and give an impression that white people didn't support me.
Yeah.
There are many.
So
white
I stepped
people.
down then. The students love you. White people love you.
No. I don't know. So let me explain. So the university is a very complex entity because you've got council, you've got Senate, which is the highest decision-making body on academic matters, and then you've got council, which is a governance body. Okay, these are people who are not academics.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, a few of them might be academics. Senate has got representatives. One of who is not a non-professorial, but it's a minority. Students have representatives, but majority of people are from outside. They are not academics.
And they both want you. So Senate and Council both want you to run again.
No. Council makes the final. If Council loses confidence in you, there's no point because they're going to make your life difficult.
But they didn't lose confidence in you.
Well, I think they did.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. I mean, the chair of council called me and said, council, which is not a lot of people. By that time, there were about 20 people.
Yeah.
I don't think they voted. No, they didn't vote. But the chair of council said to me, well, council no longer has confidence in you. And then I thought, okay.
Why? Why do you think that was?
I don't know. I don't know. the other thing to be clear about, I was a performer. I've been paid for performance. I've been paid performance bonuses. So I've never been accused of non-performance or of being incompetent.
Yes, yes.
That's one thing that people... I've never been charged of misconduct, right? But I've been accused of many things. I mean, I think, they're all over. And I think my social media presence disturbed other people. I mean, I think some people woke up every morning just to look at what I'm doing on social media. I never even went to the beach in Cape Town because I thought if I went to the beach and wore a bikini, they would say, "Why are you wearing a bikini? You're the Vice-Chancellor,"
So what are some of the allegations? Do you know so?
I don't know the allegations.
The allegations were, when people say governance.
Okay.
And you say, what about governance? For me, there were serious governance problems. The biggest governance problem was the leaking of official documents of the university.
Okay.
But you have someone who's a custodian of those documents, and that's the registrar, right? And the registrar reports to me. If documents leak, I hold the registrar accountable. That's the way to do it. Now, if you're the registrar and I hold you accountable, and you say, well, I'm accusing you of leaking documents, I'm not accusing you. I'm saying to you, what are you doing? The least you can do is to write to those people who have the documents to say to them, where did you get them there? At least take some steps. If you don't,
accountability.
If you don't, then you're complicit. So you can't then, if a governance flaw like that happens, accuse me. I mean, we were at a state where News 24 would publish what happened at council, the meetings of council that I would have recused myself from. They would come on News 24. I mean, there was a day when there was a meeting of council. I had recused myself. The meeting went on until 1 o'clock. But News 24 had published by 11 o'clock. We used to joke that the minutes are coming. Adriaan Basson. And when they stopped, they stopped when I stepped down. Yeah. They stopped when I stepped down. And some of my friends at campus, they were like, hey, Kheti, now you left. Now we are no longer getting the minutes. Yeah. You see, it's almost like me and Basson are friends, but I wouldn't be in a meeting. Yeah. But Basson would take them and twist them the way he likes. And
who's Basson?
News 24 editor.
Oh,
what's his issue with you? I remember people were calling him out on Twitter. I think it described you.
You know what? You won't say this because you don't swear, but I'll say it for you. Fuck you, Basson. In a dick.
That's so wrong. You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do that. No, you shouldn't do that.
I got your back.
Hey, you stuck up for us.
Yeah, you stuck up for us.
You stood up for us when we were under attack. He's just returning the favor now.
Frankly speaking, I don't hate Adriaan Basson. I mean, I'm just shocked.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw what they did to that Prince Harry wife. What's his name?
Meghan. Yeah, Meghan Markle.
Yes, and the journalist. I thought Adriaan was trying to be famous. Sometimes I think as a journalist it must be hard. Like, who do I get as a character to get? I don't know. I'm not a journalist. Yeah. But I'm just thinking, people just want to be famous. I sell newspapers. People see my face in the newspaper or my name. They go. So all those articles that he would write with my name, if you look at them, you'd need to pay before you get access to it. Yeah.
Damn.
So he made a lot of money from me. So that's the only thing I don't like. I mean, he should have spoken to me. Then I could have given him, my side. Then he can sell proper,
Yeah.
But he was busy working. I mean, I don't know. He had a great mission to bring me down. And look, I mean, Adriaan, please don't write anything. I'm out of UCT. Please. Yeah. Adriaan, leave me alone.
So is it safe to say that you left because you rubbed people off the wrong way? Some people.
I don't know. I think maybe.
Nah.
I don't know.
Were you willing to go a second term? Did you want to go a second term?
Yeah. No, I did. And I won the vote. Yes, I won the vote for second term. Yeah. And I was going to start. I wasn't going to finish it. That wasn't my aim. Yeah. I was going to leave in the middle. Yeah. Because,
Why did you just start your own university? I'm sure you got the experience, the money.
Why start my university?
To push your message.
And to, basically to
What
create...
do you think it takes, though? What do you think it takes to start a university? Do you think it only takes ideas?
You can mobilize stakeholders and people with the funding, with the resources. I'm pretty sure you've got a strong network of such people anyway.
Yeah, and that wouldn't be a public university, to do a private university, right?
Private.
Why not public?
Public universities are started by government.
Well, fair enough, true.
Yeah. So it would be private, right?
Okay.
And so, which means you are saying to me, start a business called a university.
Mm.
And then what happens? Money. Someone must pay. Do you think,
How much does it cost to start a university?
I don't know, but let's just say I get to start this private university. It's a business.
Yeah.
Everyone who comes there must pay.
Yeah.
Already there's a start of, let's face it, people don't like paying for higher education.
Mm.
And that's where we are at. I mean, in a way.
For real?
Yeah. Even at public university, people, it's not a thing of poor people. I think the middle class do not like paying for higher education. Many black parents think that you pay for basic education, so they're willing to take their children to the most expensive basic education, Michael House, Hilton, they pay. And they think once my child gets distinction, someone must pay. It's almost like, that's something that's, so just imagine, I have a university and I say to parents must pay. The whole black community will come and say, no, you are one of us. How can you do that?
Yeah.
You know very well.
Yeah.
How can you even start a business like that?
And then when you buy a Porsche, it's like, oh, you're eating our money. Yeah.
So I'm willing to work for a university.
How much do you think roughly it costs to start a university, roughly?
Oh, come on.
I
would think in a university such as UCT.
King, no.
I'm just thinking, what would keep us going, the size of UCT for the whole year without getting money in a 30 billion PROF.
Yo!
Yeah. Because you're paying people research, you're paying people from gardeners to cleaners to academics.
Damn.
Yeah, but remember, even when you run a public university, certainly for me as a leader, I always thought I've got to run the finances of the university in such a way that I have somewhere in our savings enough money to keep us going for at least 6 months. If government decided if there's no money altogether, it's not cheap.
Hey, this is big business, eh?
It's not cheap.
Yo, 30 billion, bro.
For the whole year, for all the... remember you have 30,000 students.
Yeah.
You've got more than 5,000 staff.
Yeah.
You've got,
Before we finish the UCT thing, what happened with the Zethu Maka Mandela report? What was that all about?
Oh my God. The ombud report.
Yeah.
Okay, so the ombud report is the one that started the whole thing.
Yeah.
That said I'm a bully.
Okay.
And to get a full understanding, you've got to read all her reports. You'll see all of them, even before I came to UCT.
Yeah.
She was making this allegation that there's bullying.
Yeah.
Now, come 2019,
sure,
she names the bully who just arrived before the other reports. She says it's me, right? And so I wrote to her. I wrote to her, challenging her on 3 things. First of all, an ombud must keep the names of people confidential.
Okay.
They're not allowed to name people. That's number 1. And she's named me. If you say, she doesn't have to say my name. If you say Vice-Chancellor, I'm the only one who's Vice-Chancellor.
Of course.
Okay. Number 2, you have to give me the right of response.
Oh, yes.
You don't write an allegation, publish it, and then it's the truth. I have no right of response. Come on. Even Thabo Bester deserves justice.
Not Thabo
Bester. This is just simple administrative justice.
Yes.
Yes. You do that. And then thirdly, if you read the report carefully, you'll see that she inserts herself. And she says, I bullied her. I'll get to that. Right? Now, you cannot be the judge and jury in your own case. You can't be the complainant and then the judge of, So once you get there, you wonder, so now, is this person, what is going on here? Right. So I with that report, I wrote a 12-page response to council. When the chair of council insisted that I do that. But before I did that, I had written to her to say, simple administrative justice, I deserve a right of response. You are supposed to be confidential according to your terms of reference.
Yeah.
And of course, I wasn't given that the opportunity. My view is that, I don't know where she got that.
Yeah.
I think it was all in the plan, unfortunately. And it didn't work at that time. Here's the thing. Any CEO there who has never been accused of being a bully, it probably hasn't had employees who don't want to be held accountable.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. I hold people accountable. I don't care whether you are an old black man or an old white man.
Or how it's going to make you feel.
Yes, we have a job to do.
Simple.
And you report to me. You've got to do the job.
That's it.
Now, and then when you're an ombud, you also have to know your line of responsibility.
You keep saying that word. What's an ombud?
An ombud doesn't make academic decisions, period. No ombud, I don't care what kind of support they have, is going to tell me that I have to pass this PhD student or this master student who failed. No. I said to the ombud, that's not your job. I don't care. Even if there's unfairness, you don't tell me I must pass them. You get out of academic matters. You can say, well, the students complain about this and maybe getting extra examiners or whatever.
Gotcha.
You don't come to me and say, Sol has been doing this PhD for 4 years. Sol is this and that. So please, man, come on, understand. No. That's how corruption starts. And that is the governance issue that council should be worried about. So I know, and there's documents that have been written that we wrote back and forth between us. And this is a story that has never been told. My big fight with the ombud is that she wanted to make academic decisions. And I told her it's not her place.
And I put my
feet down. I put my foot down. Would I do it again? Absolutely. Would I hold the registrar accountable again and insist that if confidential documents leak? Absolutely. Would I continue to hold people accountable? Absolutely, I would. Okay, because those things are important. I mean, it's interesting that people say it's my style of leadership they didn't like. Yes. Okay, if you read something, they say, well, it's your style of leadership. Well, they liked it when I got the university in track.
Yeah,
when the university was messed up and there was shutdown after shutdown. And I don't call police, by the way. I don't do that.
They liked it.
They liked it.
And
I leave. First week, I leave. They can't handle it. They call the police. The police are there with pushing students, arresting. A mess that I've never done it. I mean, I was shocked.
You used to eat with the students and talk to them like on a
Yeah.
What were they saying when you were speaking to them? Like, what were they saying about the racism? Like, what's going on there?
No, but you think students only talk about that. They don't.
Yeah.
They talk about all other things. I mean, first of all, I went to dining halls to eat with them because I wanted to know and get a sense of the quality of food that our students are eating.
Okay.
I don't want to sit and hear during a toi that we're giving them rotten
trash.
food. Yeah. I sit there and I eat with them. Okay? And then I also want to know who they are, where do they come from, what their struggles are. And that's where you hear students who are in the missing middle telling you about not having laptops. We give laptops to students who are on NSFAS, and there are students who are not NSFAS. And then you get that other level. You get these other stories when you meet with them. You hear about maybe the crime in residences.
Jeez.
It's like sometimes things that they want changed in the university that they are not.
So racism wasn't top of the list?
It wasn't. No, it wasn't. Okay. I mean, there were times when they complained maybe about a lecturer who said this or that in class. But it wasn't always. The racism also wasn't so much between the students.
Is it?
Yeah, no, I didn't.
No, man. What story did you once speak about on the podcast, Penduka?
I
Where
think
the
that
dead.
was Stellenbosch.
That's Stellenbosch.
Yeah, no.
That's Stellies.
Oh, that's
Stellies.
Stellenbosch.
Yeah, no.
Oh, okay.
So I think white students who come to UCT, I don't know where they come from, families are that, or maybe they come because they want to interact.
Oh, they're progressive.
I don't know. I don't want to say maybe they want to be. I mean, I don't want to put a label on them.
Yeah.
But I think they want to, mix with black people, and they know that you'll get.
During COVID, were you guys coming up with vaccines?
we were doing vaccine trials.
Yes.
Vaccine trials. Our team, we've got a team of that was doing vaccine trials.
Wow, how did that go?
But it's not the first time. I mean, we've got top scientists at UCT, so they've also done other vaccine trials for HIV, and we do a lot of research on TB. So COVID, there's a lot of research on COVID. So some of our researchers were serving on the committees.
So where are those vaccines?
No, we didn't come with a vaccine, but we were doing the trials. Both Pfizer and Johnson. They were done. Johnson was big at UCT. That's the one that was trialed.
What do you think about all these stories coming out about these vaccines being not make sure?
Can you see that he is assuming that I know not make sure? I like that.
Twitter,
I like that. It's not make sure.
It's like some shady stuff. It's not make sure.
Dog.
Because we've heard about the vaccines,
No, but
every day there's a story.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, there are stories about vaccines. I can't get into those, but I mean, I think we as black people behaved as if it's the first time that we're getting vaccines. But our children get vaccines.
Yeah, but we are woke now. We are woke now.
No, let me tell you.
What are we objecting?
Because it happens so fast. The vaccines we got as kids were researched over decades and decades in the creation of them.
But some of them are not, and some of them are not given by government. If you get, and I don't know if you, young man, got this, but if you get a boy child, you have to make sure that you buy the vaccine for MMR, mumps, whatever, and rubella, which they don't give in clinics, to make sure that your child is for boy child, because it can kill your manhood, right? So you buy it at the pharmacy, you go to the doctor, and they jab your child, right? But you buy it, right? So would we say, I don't know why government doesn't give it, whether it's because it's expensive or whether I don't know. But I just got shocked at the way we were reacting as if we were never jabbed.
Did you do Pfizer or Johnson?
Jabbed. I took Johnson & Johnson.
Okay.
Why?
It's not make sure.
It's not make sure.
It's not make sure your response.
No, let me tell you. I took Johnson & Johnson because I was part of the trial group.
Wow.
So I was in the first group when the doctors and the nurses took.
Yeah.
Because our Faculty of Health Sciences was taking, and I went to take that.
Let's talk about... sorry.
How do you feel when you hear stories of, I think it's one of the directors or whatever, big people at these pharmaceutical companies who didn't take their very own vaccines?
I remember that.
I think your levels of trust are very low, but here's the thing about research. I mean, science can be contested. Yeah, but you can't contest it on the basis of how one person or 10 people just react, So my view is that the researchers... Wait. I think the researchers who came up with those, with the vaccines, continue to work on them. Okay, of course there are also many other stories about why these vaccines, the depopulation agenda, and so on. I don't know about that.
No, but Prof, let's use our brains for a second. So you've got a local brand, it's Dash.
Yes.
But you don't drink it, but it's yours. But you don't consume it.
Yeah, because I don't like it. It doesn't
When it's
taste
time
good.
to drink it, you dash.
It doesn't
Literally.
taste good.
Jeez.
Like I like MacG from Zimbabwe. I don't like South African MacG.
Oh, you like this MacG from Zimbabwe?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I'll try it out. We're going there when?
27th.
27th,
We'll
yeah.
try it out.
The scientists,
Yeah.
black scientists, how many are we? How's that
I
looking
don't
like?
know how many, but I mean, it's still not good enough, but it's much better. I mean, if you go to the CSIR, you'll get a lot of black scientists. The thing is, we are needed everywhere.
Yeah.
You know.
Would you say Sangomas are scientists in their own way?
African science.
You MacG. No comment.
That's interesting, man.
No comment.
I wanted to ask you, are you still a board member on the Oprah Winfrey
Yeah.
school?
Yes.
How did that come about?
They approached me. They approached me. They approached me, interviewed me, and then finally invited me. I think it was 2015, 2016 or so.
Did you ever get to meet her?
Yes. She's a board member.
Yeah.
So she attends board meetings.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
And every year she comes to the school. We have a graduation every year. And I mean, she's amazing. She literally attends. She's not the chair.
Yeah.
There's another woman who's the chair. And the board, of course, is some people are in the US, some people are in South Africa. She attends and she sits there and she listens and she asks questions and she, you know.
Is that school like, did she do it from the goodness of her heart? It's like a PR campaign. You know, like Bill Gates is always feeding African children.
But he also wants to depopulate Africa at the same time.
Oprah, that's a very expensive project. And it's not a publicity campaign. Definitely. It's too expensive to be that. Yeah. And too big and too and she's too committed to it.
Oh, okay.
And if it were a publicity campaign, she'd probably have given it up by now. You know, I mean, if you think about it, I mean, she's been at it
for a while
since
now.
Mandela was president.
Yeah,
she's been at it.
And she comes every year.
She comes every year. She attends every meeting. She never misses a meeting.
That's okay. Now it makes sense.
She doesn't.
A kid from one of the schools.
She asks. By the way, she didn't just adopt children. Those children, she pays for everything from their painting to their hair.
Whoa.
Wow.
See, you know, I just think she's very passionate about this, and she's interested in the quality of education. She's not just interested in let them just get out with matric. I mean, we got for the first time all the matrics got university entrance last year. All of them.
Brilliant.
And Oprah checks detail, like for maths. What's the average? How many? You know. Accepting the students, it has to be the poorest of the poor. I mean, we take the poorest of the poor. 30,000 rands total family income per annum.
Jeez.
Oh,
that's
30.
like it's children who have nothing, and she takes care of them. She takes care of their families. I mean, who does that for publicity?
Yeah, I know.
You know, a family a family of a child in a school. Her view is that the child in a school will never concentrate if the parent is hungry, is dying, needs medication or whatever. And the approach to teaching is I think is phenomenal. I mean, it's one that recognizes that poverty is traumatic. That all the children suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder, and so you approach them that way. You don't get surprised later that they have mental health issues. So.
I got some rapid fire questions I want to throw at you, ne? So you must tell me the first thing that comes into your head, okay?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. First question. Favorite celebrity, past or present?
Wow, Brenda Fassie.
Yes. Did you ever meet her?
No.
How big was my brother back in the day?
Oh, huge, man. Huge. I mean, my brother was a force, man. I listened to your interview. Did you interview Joe Nina?
Joe Nina.
No,
that's
Dave.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because we don't know what happens in the studio. And
100%.
So on. And when Jonina talks about it, I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
It's even more phenomenal when I hear how...
Who do you think right now reminds you of Brenda Fassie, that same energy?
Oh, sorry, I don't know.
You don't know.
Sorry.
Much.
Excuse, man.
All right, next
because
question.
it was a personality, it wasn't just singing.
Yes,
it was a
yes.
whole...
It's a whole package.
Yeah. I'm not sure if that... I mean, I keep thinking, if she was still alive now, it's almost like that kind of personality, that kind of hugeness can't live too long.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it would be dangerous.
Tupac vibes.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Shit, you're right.
Yeah.
Yo, best thing about being a professor?
Oh, people think you know everything. So even when I don't know an answer to the question they ask, I go, yeah. They think I know it. Yeah.
Career accomplishment you're most proud of?
Wow. I don't know what to say. I'm actually proud of the fact that my children are graduates.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Or let me say, not just graduates. That my boys have come out to be good human beings. I think as a career woman, I take that as my greatest career accomplishment. That sure, damn, they
didn't turn out to be like Thabo Bester or something.
Yeah, but they're just not even that's extreme. Just good human beings, man. Like just proper human beings, you know. I think for me that's huge.
How many kids you got?
5.
5.
Wow.
Why, MacG? Why? I've got 1 biological and 4 adopted, yes.
Oh.
How can why the whole?
Yeah, I was about to ask, when did you have time to make 5?
Are you asking me who I slept with?
No.
Of course I've got 5. Finish.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Yes.
Perfect, man. Beautiful. What advice would you give your 15-year-old self?
They're all scared of you. Don't be scared of them.
Ooh,
Yeah,
powerful.
they're all scared of you.
Sure.
Yeah.
Who are you talking about?
People in general. Because as a 15-year-old,
The ombud.
I always thought people... Not
Right?
everybody. No, like... I would say that to my 15-year-old because you always think, you are scared of other people. You don't look at things from your side. And actually, they are scared of you. And as a 15-year-old, it's even worse. You can't even walk. The boys whistle, whatever.
Oh, yes, yes.
So whatever context you walk into, they are scared of you. Not you scared. Don't be scared of them. And if you think that way, you'll have all the confidence to do anything that you want to do. Because then you'll remember that you are the powerful one. You are the one that they're scared of. Think about it. You, as much as they're scared of you, MacG. They're scared of you.
Hey.
So even if the ombud does that, I mean, she wouldn't do that if she wasn't scared of me.
Nah.
She would just come to me and say, blah, 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 blah. She's bloody scared of me. That's why she had to do that. That's why the journalists have to... I mean, I often think, I'm like, wow, I am big. This university hires 3 judges and 2 other people. They say they must investigate me.
Hey.
Small little me. Yeah. I mean, no, listen here. I mean, you have a council, you have a board. They can discipline a vice-chancellor. If you have committed misconduct,
Yes.
there are policies in the university. You can get disciplined. Now, they are not disciplining you. They are not even telling you what misconduct. They call judges.
Because they're scared.
Even Thabo Bester is not going to get 2 judges. Hello? He's going to get 1. I got 2.
Drops mics.
And then, so I keep looking at it and thinking, wow, they are scared of me. I am huge.
That's crazy.
Because why would they do this?
UCT or WITS?
Now I would choose UCT. I mean, VETS has gone down, man.
Has it?
Oh, man, come on. I mean, didn't you hear the UJ Vice-Chancellor who left talking about how they kicked VETS out of the 2nd place and now they are going to be... so in what... I mean, but it was one of the rankings. He was being dramatic. But, I mean, I haven't been... VETS is home. I'll always be a VETS.
Yeah.
But come on, I would choose UCT any day.
Wow. Favorite city in the world?
Wow. Rotorua.
Where's that?
In New Zealand.
Oh, New Zealand. You've been to New Zealand.
Yeah.
Damn.
Well, then, it's a small little city, but I it's unique because it's on top of a live volcano.
Oh, okay.
So you could be walking and there will be water boiling.
That sounds dangerous.
Active volcano.
Well, it's on a live volcano. The Rotorua is on top of a live volcano. I mean, besides the fact that it's majority of the people there are Maoris, but it's on a live volcano. You get wombats. You get it's just amazing. I mean, it's not like the big city, big cars, whatever. It's just that natural kind of feel and the influence of the Maori people in Rotorua, which is amazing.
What are they? White people or
well,
black people?
I mean, Maori are the indigenous people
Of New Zealand.
Well, yeah, of the islands around. They occupied New Zealand first.
Ah, okay. I get what you mean.
But I mean, they've intermarried so much that they were losing the language, but now they have had a cultural renaissance. And
lovely. NCEFF.
No comment. Both of them.
Well,
include DA as well. Please.
But she looks like an NC baby, ne?
No.
EFF baby.
Those vibes.
No.
Yeah.
No, let me say this. I mean, the one thing I would say about being Vice-Chancellor, I mean, I'm not politically aligned to anybody.
Sure.
I get letters of congratulations from DA, from whatever. The only party that tried to recruit me is Action SA. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
But as Vice-Chancellor, I always wanted an SRC that's political. That is. I know other Vice-Chancellors don't want. I want the ones who are veterans and they are clear about their colors. Because at least I know what they stand for.
Yes.
I don't want these dubious ones who say independent. There's no one who's independent here. Nonsense independent. I don't want them. The weakest SRC we've ever had is the independent. The one that's got dominance of independent. I want the ones who are clear about colors. Then I know because I can challenge them on their colors and their whatever. Now these ones, today they flow this way, next time they flow this way.
Pleasing everyone.
Yeah, so people say, oh no, what do you do? You have so much EFF in your university because the past 2 years we had EFF dominated SRC.
Yeah.
It's fine. I want them the better experience. The more experience, the better.
Yeah.
The more hardcore, the better. They know how to make demands. They know that in the list of the demands, there's one that's not unmeetable. So they know to play politics. These others, the inexperienced amateurs, they waste time. They don't understand this. So I don't want that.
Tanta likes light.
I'm not calling names. You're pushing me.
If you could be a professor in anything else, what would it be?
Well, except my discipline.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm thinking I could be controversial, but
we love it, man. We love it. You're home.
Obstetrics. Well, I want to be a surgeon that works on men's genitals.
Yeah.
Whoa! Once again, on the ball. Drop a bomb.
No, but you are thinking of that. But how do you know that maybe I'm doing that because I actually want to help people who want to transition. Either to being males or from being males.
Oh, wow.
So that, but if I'm not a surgeon in that area, I won't be able to do. Of course, it doesn't only need that kind of surgeon, but I would like to be part of that. I would like to be part of that journey.
What's it called?
And also when children are born and whatever, and the decision says, cut, I can say, oh, no, just leave this.
What's it called?
I think it's called obstetrics.
Obstetrics. Jeez, very interesting. Yeah, I've never heard of it, man.
I think, but I might be messing it up. But you got what I
Yes, 100%. Yeah.
Oh, urologist.
Urologist.
Yes.
That's what it's called.
Yeah, it's a urology.
Oh, okay.
I should have thought about it. Urine, eh? But I want to be a urologist.
Early on, you said it's embarrassing that you're the first Black South African PhD holder in mathematics education. Why?
Well, I mean, it was in 2002. I mean, it's embarrassing that as Black people, only then.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, as a country, I don't think it's something to be proud of. As an individual, I took it as a challenge, and I think anyone who gets to be first in anything should take it as a challenge, because the challenge is you shouldn't be the last. And so what are you going to do to make sure that you're not the last?
Especially with our people. Generally, they want to be the first and only Black in the boardroom, in a particular street, suburb. Yeah.
You shouldn't be. So I took it as a challenge not to be the last. And that's when I started my foundation. Then in 2000 I started my foundation in 2004. Because
what does it do, the foundation?
Adopt Helena Foundation, we support Black South African students who completed matric in rural or townships to get into university. So they have to have completed matric there. So I don't want these ones who paid big monies and suddenly they're poor. Yeah. So
Beautiful.
So we pay for their education.
Hey, but those things are red flag now since Thabo Bester.
Which ones?
These things of raising funds for...
I don't raise funds. That's the thing. I do not raise funds. I don't raise funds for my foundation.
Okay.
I work for the money.
Oh. Okay.
So I've never raised funds.
Oh, okay.
I use my own money. And that's my view. If you are going to start a foundation in your name, then you must be the first one to donate. So at UCT, I have the MAMOKGEThi scholarship.
Okay.
I don't raise money.
Yeah.
I gave 10% of my salary to the MAMOKGEThi scholarship.
Beautiful.
And I gave 10% to the Roads Must Fall scholarship. So we started the Roads Must Fall, and for many years I was the only donor. So the MAMOKGEThi scholarship, we've taken a lot of, and that one supports Black and colored women, South African postgraduate students at UCT.
Wow,
it's still, I've got R1 million there. It's not only my 10%. When I get invited to talk, to give talks, I charge. I ask people to donate 100. This year it's 150,000 rand.
Yes.
And you ask me to come and talk, it goes to the MAMOKGEThi scholarship, or it goes to Adopt Helena Foundation. Of course, you know, if people say it's too much, then I don't have to do it. But then I wouldn't charge, for example, a Black school out there, I would talk for free. But companies, private schools, whatever. And that's so I don't raise money.
Before you go,
Yeah.
Can you tell me the origin of mathematics? Like, where does it come from?
From the continent, from Egypt.
From Egypt?
Yeah. You should read about the Ishango bone. That's where it emerges. I mean, many historians of mathematics would argue that the Greeks actually stole ideas of Egyptians. So it started on the continent.
I mean, if you look at the pyramids, I can believe that.
Yeah.
The kind of advancement and that you need to build such structures way back then.
Yeah.
So I can believe
but
that.
not only that, I mean, have you seen Great Zimbabwe?
Oh man!
I mean, it's also fascinating. I mean, it's Mapungubwe. You know, it's the mathematics of having a building like that, no cement, no whatever, just like you have with the whatever. But so I mean, yeah. So I haven't studied history of mathematics.
Okay.
But it's a well-accepted fact that it originates from the African continent.
So how did it end up being mandatory for everybody in all schools around the world to learn mathematics?
But you know, mathematics is a way of thinking. I mean, historically, the philosophers and the mathematicians were philosophers. I mean, in Greece, they hung out together. It wasn't like it was separate. But it helps you to think. It's a way of thinking. You know, so with logic, it helps you with logic. I mean, we use a lot of mathematical way of thinking in our thinking. It's just that we don't stop and say, okay, this is how it comes together, and this is how algebra gets you to think this way. But most of problem solving that we do in our everyday life is logic, really. Yeah.
Do you think maths is a talent or anyone can just be good at it if they apply themselves?
I think anyone can do it.
It's a talent, Prof.
No, seriously.
I think you're born with it. Yeah.
No.
We did math standard grade, my man.
Functional grade.
Whoa, you're not going to do that in my presence. Wait. You see, because they're not telling us what they did in geography. What did you do in geography?
I didn't do geography.
What did you do?
I did maths, computer science, and then English.
But why do you
And the A
rubbish?
for life orientation.
Why do you rubbish maths and you're not rubbishing Afrikaans?
No, I'm not rubbishing it. I'm interested. I'm fascinated.
No. You're saying we did standard grade.
Because I think it is a talent.
No, but maybe
I tried very hard to be.
No, you know
in
why
high
I'm
grade.
saying this is because people feel very comfortable to say they were never good at maths.
Yes.
Or
Okay. Yes.
It's like a badge of honor.
Oh,
Do you know
I
what I
see
mean?
what you mean.
Yeah, like you can never say, "Hey, my English sucked, man."
Yeah.
It's only me. When people ask me, then I say, "Well, I chose math. I had good teachers, but of course I sucked at everything. Only math I could do, because I could figure out, whether my answer is wrong or right."
Got you.
But I'm convinced anyone can do maths.
Wow.
You need a good teacher. And you also need to shut down this noise about normalizing mathematical inability. You are normalizing it. I mean, how many young people love you and trust you? They're like, MacG failed maths standard grade.
No, I didn't fail standard
You didn't
grade.
fail it.
No, pass.
Okay, MacG passed it, guys. It's important because they think it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, we should have talked before.
Yes.
So that we can explain the mathematics of doing all of this.
What do you mean?
Like so that we can sell maths.
Oh, but you can sell it, no? I mean,
No. You started rubbishing it already.
Before you go, I see you got tattoos here. Forgiven and...
Believe.
Okay. Tell us more about that.
Well, they're conversation starters. I am forgiven simply because I believed. I didn't have to do anything. I'm forgiven. Yeah.
Check, do you have a question? She's like having an orgasm there. Please give her a mic, I'm sure, because she really admires you. She wants to be like you when she grows up.
No, that's shabby. You can't want to be like me. That's nice, but very shabby dream.
What question do you have for the professor?
He's very mistaken. I don't want to be like you.
Exactly.
I admire you.
Thank
and
you.
You look very young and way better in person, BTW. But you mentioned the whole statement of people not wanting to pay for education.
Yeah.
And I had a question in regards to that. Is it the whole vibe of not wanting to, or just lack of funds? Because you spoke about how parents, Black parents in specific, are able to pay for private education in the highest form, but when it gets to university, they refuse to. When actually, if you were to look at primary and high school salaries or fees, and you look at university fees, there's like a vast difference. A hectic one. I'm from a middle-class family.
Yeah.
And I can't afford university either. So what are your thoughts on that?
I'll talk about that, but let's go first to school fees. You surely didn't see the list of fees for private schools that was circulating beginning of the year. It circulates every year. Actually, all of them cost more than UCT. UCT charges the most. But you just have to ask St. John's, St. Stephen's, Rudine, Michael House. All of them charge more. Bishops, they charge more than UCT. So I understand that you are talking about public schools are cheaper. Okay, I'm saying to you, parents who take their children to top private schools, once they pass, they don't want to pay. Okay, I'm not talking about, parents who, that's one thing, right? So find that list, you'll get it. Anyone who's listening will have seen it. They cost way more. Secondly, university education, you're right, it's expensive. I earn comfortable money. And damn, it's expensive. I find it expensive. And I do realize that for some parents, it might mean that you scale down. You use public transport rather than having a car. I do know that you can. Often it's not that there's no money. It's the fact that you've got to deny yourself certain things to pay for school, for university. And people don't like denying themselves certain things. So people want to have a lavish life and at the same time have university education that's expensive. I know that when my parents, when we went to school, we had 3 and then 1 adopted, 4 of us. And, between us, not many, between my brother and I was coming right after him. My dad took a loan from work. My dad worked for the SABC. And he took a loan from my brother. When I took a loan, by the time my sister comes, he couldn't take a loan anymore because his salary was close to 0 net. It was tough. We didn't have a car. We were living in a 4-room with small little windows. It was tough. In fact, this morning we were laughing with my mom because I slept at my mom's. And we were talking about my dad, that, damn, my dad, he would do anything but education. Would rather eat pap, water, and sugar. But we never lacked anything at school. But that's just one thing. What are my views about education? I think public education actually should be free. Can you see what I'm saying? So, listen, it is not free now. But I think it should be free. I actually think way back when the negotiations were done, I actually think if we planned carefully as a country then, if you think all the money that's been lost to corruption, and we could have made education free. That's my view, okay? Does it mean now we just sit, I understand that the country can't afford it now because bad decisions and things were done, but because they can't afford it, it means we as parents are going to have to deny ourselves certain things for our children to have education. And it might even mean that we as young people have to deny ourselves certain things to get an education. Yeah. My children tell me that I live like a poor person because I am damn frugal. And there are things, though, that I wouldn't sacrifice. There are things that are very important. Education is one of them. I love traveling. I'm sure if you follow me on social media, you'll see that when I go get my honorary doctorates overseas, I go with family. I take a whole delegation. Last year, when we went to Canada, my son was diagnosed with cancer, was on chemo and whatever. My mom, I said, you're coming with this fiancé. I said, I'll pay for your business class. Like everyone's going. I can spend my money on that. Okay? But when I go to the Pick and Pay, I wanna check beef, stewing beef. 79 rand 99 or 109 rand 99. I check that very carefully. I go for stewing beef, 79 rand 99 cents. Can you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
I'm not going to be playing games, say it's my money.
Yes.
I look very carefully. My children just want to take a T-bone. No, I don't want T-bone. It's expensive. Why? So, and I compare. Some people don't want to do that, okay? Do I want to do my hair there, whatever? I go where I'll get it done better, but for cheaper. Why? Because I don't want any of them to miss out on education. You want to go up to a PhD, I'll sweat for it. You want to do this, I'll sweat for it. Together with many other children. So I just think Black parents, let me not say Black parents, because even some white parents, some parents and some people, and for us as Black people, because we've spent so much under apartheid, sometimes we go on as if somebody owes us, And I think, sometimes we might deny ourselves. It might be too late when we wake up.
Beautiful. Now, you were part of Fees Must Fall. You've got a question for the professor.
He led the students.
He led the students.
He was running the streets, torching everything.
Ask her a question there. Please give him the mic. Man. Don't seem like this, just sitting without a camera, just chilling there. The big boy, this one.
So, Prof, I know there's some other things like from UCT where some students in Twitter used to accuse you of not addressing some issues that about if I'm not mistaken, there was a rape case.
Jeez.
And then they were accusing you of not addressing it.
Yeah.
I don't know how. Did you not want to go about it or what?
Did you follow that case?
I really didn't.
Okay. So I've had an interesting job. So that same students, we'll call them student A.
Okay.
Started with accusation of, I've taken care of her. I mean, to be honest with you. First, he said she complained about racism. This is not a young student, like a 30-year-old, 28-year-old, who's doing a master's in the Faculty of Health Sciences, so we call them registrars.
Okay.
So they're going there to specialize, and he was doing plastic surgery. And racism, blah, blah, blah. Then we intervened, got them another supervisor. And by the way, when you're a registrar, you're an employee of the hospital. So all the students who are doing masters in medical, anything, health sciences, who are doctors, they get employed in the hospital, and then they are students in the university. But the hospital hires them by virtue of them being, so they get paid a salary. So they get conditions of service of employees there. Here they are students. We get a new supervisor, it goes on, and then that was first accusation is racism. The following year, this supervisor, is a new supervisor, rape. This supervisor raped me, and this is big, this is dramatic. Rape, this supervisor raped me in front of people, blah, 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 blah.
Gee.
Fine, we change that supervisor, we get another one. While the case, the hospital investigates the case. Goes on and on with the supervisor, another supervisor. Oh yeah, this one raped me, the security were watching, he even gave me a sexually transmitted disease. Produces papers and so on. Investigations take place. Only to find that actually there's none of that. The documents that she's producing of sexually transmitted disease are of a patient. And there's a whole report on this. The investigation wasn't even done by me. Scrutiny did 2 investigations. And so she committed fraud with that, and there was no rape. There was no rape at all. The students didn't only, troll me on Twitter, of course. But trolled me on Twitter when I ended up responding with, "What's your agenda?" Before then, she even wrote to the president. Wrote to everybody until the president's office, and the president's office sends the big investigators from whatever. They came to my place 12 midnight on a Saturday. They want to sit with me. They want to interview me about this student. They're doing an investigation up and down. The student is not cooperative. I mean, the president has discharged people, directors in his office to handle this case. Until they gave up, they said, we've tried everything. Nothing is coming out of, there's clearly no case here. So then when that happens, then the student then went onto Twitter and say, I'm not helping her. I left her with being raped. I even paid for lawyers for the person who raped her. And for me, having all this history, I impulsively said, what's your agenda? Because really, I thought she must be having an agenda.
What happened?
Of course, but that in the eyes of everyone is insensitive because people don't know the story.
The backstory, yeah.
And so I apologized. But there's nothing that says I don't support or protect students who are suffer gender-based violence. I do. But actually, the people who make false accusations actually make it so difficult for proper cases.
Yeah.
Now, when that article comes out in the newspapers, after the Grotesque report comes that this student was lying, nobody makes a meal of it. You all just keep quiet.
Yeah. And I wanted to ask you, what happened to
apologized.
the lecturer that was accused?
No, it's there. I mean, I heard that he was suing. I mean, we've got two, at least during my time, there were two lecturers who were accused. This one of the plastic surgery was a colored professor. The other one was actuarial science, a black African guy, a PhD in actuarial science, being accused. I mean, I'm not even sure whether he has found himself. He sued for defamation and won the case. But you have this thing hanging.
Yeah. It's part of...
So it's a, yeah. But there's nothing that says I do. You need to know when you're a Vice-Chancellor, by the way, not everybody's going to like you. You know, I never thought I'm selling ice cream. In general, I got along with students. But there were students who didn't like me. That's the minority. I went into any residence safely. I can go now safely. Nobody, I mean, I would say to security, nobody would attack me if I went into the middle of students. I always, in fact, one of the accusations that someone had said about me was that I cared more about students than I cared about academics. There were people who were complaining that I don't care about them, I care about students. But the students in a university environment, students are the vulnerable. They're the vulnerable. They're the most powerless people are the students. You know, they can be gone tomorrow. Their rights are not like rights of workers. So it makes sense if I prioritize them.
And did any student ever hit on you?
They don't, you know, there's one who put on Instagram that he's got a crush. And
yeah.
I can't remember what he did, you know, and then others said, how can you have a crush on your mother? And then I said he must show himself.
Yeah.
He must show himself.
Yeah,
you can't have a crush in the dark.
In the dark.
Yeah, I dared him to come out. And he never came out.
Yeah. He's too shy.
But they got good taste. I mean,
yeah.
Good taste. If they keep that going, it might go well. It's not the right candidate at this time.
Yes.
But if this is your taste,
then you got a good future, Eddie.
good future.
Professor, thank you so much for chilling with
Prof,
us, man.
thank you.
Really enjoyed it. Are you joining us 30th of July at SUNBET Arena? We're doing a road to 1 million subscribers.
Really?
Yeah.
No, you must invite me proper, man.
Yeah, ne?
Yeah.
Take you for lunch.
You said I'm the queen.
You are our queen mother.
You must invite me, I'll be there.
Perfect, man.
I mean, now that I'm self-employed.
Hey, self-employed millionaire. Podcast and chill, we out here, man. Boom.
Welcome to Black Excellence. Do not fear, for if you do, just sip on some grandeur. And if you still do, ask ourselves, what would Mapapunzi do? Parama chila, itlesha lefiki. Ungoyigi, even when they ask you, awusabi yini? Do not fear, for if you do, just say, Anistivi. This is the medicine of censorship. This is the pill. Which one is that one? Podcast and chill.